Welcome back to TalkNorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. Okay, where are you today, Michael, as you traverse North America?
Montreal.
I thought so.
Yeah, got in a little delayed, rushed to the hotel, rushed to the rink. They had an optional practice to get ready for Thursday's game against the Canadiens to wrap up this 3-game road trip. And optional practice, 3 games in 4 nights, 5 and 8, a lot of travel. So they used rest as their big thing to work on today, and I'm sure they'll get a lot of guys on the ice tomorrow and try to get ready for the Habs here.
This is the Russo-Hockey Show, part of the TalkNorth.com podcast network. Please follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod. Thank you to our producer, Brandon Morton, and thank you to our sponsors, Twill and the Dining Galleria, FixologyRepair.com, Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent, and BlackSquad.com. Also, our next live show, correct me if I'm wrong, at Tin Shed in Savage. Find their information at tinshedmn.com. Will be 7 o'clock on October 21st. Right, Michael?
Yep, October 21st.
Just want to make sure. I had Vicky and a couple people reach out to me. I just want to make sure we have that date for everybody, October 21st, 7 o'clock. And as you know by now, it's a lot of fun to be there and do the show and interact with everybody. So please come out and join us. All right, I'm going to start off the program with a very general question. How bad is it? I mean, it's one thing to lose games. It's one thing to have a bad streak. Is this even worse than just your average kind of lull in a hockey season?
Well, yeah, no, it hasn't been good. Vicky was ahead of the game. Doobie hasn't looked good. If you remember the last live show, Vicky asked about Doobie, and I protected him, but she must have saw the fundamentals starting to lapse in Dubnik's game because he hasn't been very good. And they are just a slow team, man. I mean, they give up quick goals. It's unbelievable. Every game, it's 2 goals in 30 seconds, 2 goals in 2 minutes, 2 goals in 45 seconds. Last night, same thing in Toronto. Just 3 goals almost instantly, and it's been all Dubnyk and net. But regardless of just Dubnyk here, I mean, they are so bad in their own zone. It is frightening watching Jared Spurgeon and Jonas Brodin play right now. And Matt Dumba was just, so it starts with the first play of the game with Ryan Suter losing the puck, and it just didn't get better. Dumba had a bad game yesterday as well. It's not very good. And then their forwards are, I don't know if they're cheating for offense or they know they don't have speed. But it's like the second somebody gets the puck, it's like 3 forwards fly out of the zone and give nobody the ability to pass to send an outlet pass up. Last night again, watching Toronto skate on them and the Wild's defense backing up and giving them the zone every night. They're an easy team to play against right now, and it's they play well for certain portions of the game, but it just has not been sustainable for a long time. And then the other thing is speed-wise, they have guys on their team, and it's not just the veterans it's not just not playing fast. I mean, they are a slow-footed team, and it's frightening to watch. I don't know how in a league that's young and fast that they're going to be able to sustain this for 82 games. It's just we always joke that this team is not lucky enough or never bad enough to get a top draft pick, that they always eke into the playoffs. This could be the year, everybody. I mean, I don't see how they don't finish with near the bottom record in the league. They're just not a good hockey team.
That's the thing. They could tank without trying to tank.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I'm just so tired of that question on Twitter. It's like they're 1-5. You know, what more could they do to tank? You know, it's like they are just not a good team. Billy Guerin doesn't have to do anything to help this team tank. Let me promise. So they are just not a good hockey team. And you know, maybe when they start, if they can somehow stay afloat here during the remaining portion of this road-heavy schedule and get it home, maybe they're going to luck out. But I mean, we saw against Pittsburgh, they just don't have it in them. And it's scary how old some of these guys have gotten very quickly. There are guys that are just playing awful hockey right now, and it's up and down the lineup. Everybody, it's the young kids, the veterans, but this is as bad as we've seen Parisi look. This is as bad as we've seen Stahl look. Parisi can't catch a puck right now. It's just. Man, it is so hard to watch, and it's been frustrating to watch, especially at the beginning of the year, because you just know that, as I said to my editor the other day, we're going to have to come up with new ways to write a gamer, because I can't just destroy them every single game.
Oh, I'd like to see you try.
Yeah, I know, but man, it is exhausting, and it's just, I do feel for Billy Guerin. Like, I was talking to Rick Ferraro about this yesterday before the Wild played the Leafs. Before we saw what they did against the Leafs, is that there's just no easy out here, because what he needs is time, but he's got guys on contracts that are just immovable, and now you add Zuccarello to the mix. So you got these aging bodies that look like they've fallen off. You got contracts that are hard to move. You have young kids that don't look like they're going to be studs. So you got an owner that wants to win now still. Now Craig Leopold sat next to Billy Guerin in the press box last night. I got to think that was an uncomfortable game for Craig Leopold to watch, because it's got to be so obvious to him the deficiency in talent compared to a young, fast, exciting team like the Leafs. And it just, the Wild are not on the same plateau, playing as these teams. They're evenly matched with the Ottawa Senators, that's for sure. But
Ottawa's terrible, by the way. My God, that's a bad team.
And the other thing I was thinking about today as I was flying here, I had a plane delay, so I was just doing a lot of kind of writing down notes to myself and things like that. But for the one thing that's very interesting about every single one of the games is that the Wild are evenly matched with the second, third, and fourth lines of every opponent they've played this year. But they're getting destroyed every game by the top line of the other team. And what that tells me is that there's a lack of talent there. Is that, the one thing about the Wild, for all their warts and failures the last couple of years of playoffs, is that they usually play. It's funny. It's like they usually get beat by the third and fourth lines by the other teams, but figure out a way to shut down the stars of the other teams. Now it's every night. I mean, Nashville was a bit of everybody, but they go to Colorado and they were killed by Rantanen and McKinnon and Landeskog, despite doing a pretty good job against that line for most of the night. Then they go to Winnipeg, and who was it that destroyed them? It was Laine and Connor and Scheifele. Then they go and play home against Pittsburgh, and Sidney Crosby looked like it was Sidney Crosby 5, 6, 7 years ago. Then they go to Ottawa. Ottawa doesn't count. And then Toronto last night again. Morgan Riley, 4 assists. Mitch Marner, 3 points. Austin Matthews, a goal. Tavares, a goal. I don't even know the name of any other Leafs player. Janssen was awesome. But you know what I mean? Like, there were no other players in that game that were a threat. It's every night. They do a good job long enough, but there's always that lapse where they are unable to nullify the opposing stars of the other team. And that's scary, because the bread and butter of the Wild used to be a checking, defensively sound team that used to be able to really do a quality job against these stars of the other team. And so far, it's every night. Marcus Foligno said it after the Pittsburgh game the other day, is that they're losing to he basically called Pittsburgh a one-line team and Winnipeg a one-line team. He's like, we're losing to one-line teams every night. And it's really, whether that's true or not, the reality is that it is the number one line of the other team that's doing the Wild in every game.
I have an area of concern that stands out to me. I'll ask you about. Do want to thank Twill, TwillMN.com. That's Twill in the United Galleria. Friendliest shop you're going to run into. Great quality clothing, Trask shoes, Peter Millar shirts, Johnny O shirts and pants, Brax pants. All this is stuff I bought and I wear all the time. Check it out, TwillMN.com, Twill in the United Galleria. I'm here with my wife, Stacy. We went to Twill in the Edina Galleria the other day. We saw Scott Dayton, and I bought the nicest sport jacket I've ever owned, the most comfortable pants I've ever owned. They're Brax. A nice pair of loafers that I can wear to the ballpark. I think they're called Tracks. And I bought a bunch of Stenstrom short sleeve shirts to go with my Stenstrom nice dress shirts. And, I used to wear just disposable clothes. Now when I buy something, I buy it at Twill. I know it's going to last me the rest of my life, and it's going to be comfortable.
And on top of that, it's not just the best stuff you've ever had, but it's really everyday things that you can wear and that will fit all occasions.
Twill in the Edina Galleria, TwillMN.com, Twill on Instagram. Here's what's jumped out to me, Michael, watching on TV, is that the strength of this team should be the top 4D, and they're not playing well, and they're not helping Dubnyk much, and they're not producing points. I mean, Brad Hunt is like just because he can play on the power play has been like a defensive highlight.
Yeah, you're right. It is scary. I think a lot of it has to do with the inefficiencies of the forwards, and the fact that they're not scoring. So it's obviously it's hurting the top 4D defensively. But you're right. I mean, when I don't know what's going on with Spurgeon and Brodin. Brodin had such a fabulous training camp. He was so bad last night. It was scary. And Jared Spurgeon, when do we ever see him get on the wrong side of guys? It's happening every game. Watching Spurgeon and Brodin in Winnipeg, it just was it's alarming. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're starting to sense that it's like everybody feels they got to do it together, and it's just messing everybody up. But you're right. I mean, defensive zone coverage was much better against Ottawa, but it was Ottawa. Ottawa is terrible. And so to watch them scramble around their own zone, constantly give up the neutral zone, be so ineffective in the neutral zone coming up ice with the puck. I mean, they're as slow as any team I have ever covered with the puck. It's unbelievable to watch. I mean, it's kind of why I always sort of lose my temper when fans rip on Bruce for having them dump the puck. This team can do nothing but dump the puck. They don't have the ability to skate through the neutral zone. How many times did we watch against Ottawa the other day a Wild player carry the puck over the blue line but have to hit the brakes because he had no speed? It's constant, and it's everybody. It's not just Parise, Stahl, and Koivu. It's Greenway. It's Rask. It's Zucker even. They're not a fast team right now, and it's not just skating wise. They don't think the game fast, and they're just dumb things every night. They played such smart hockey in the first period in Toronto, got pucks deep, played with pace. And then second period, it's just, I hate to say it because I don't want to rip on the guy, but, it starts with that one shift where Mayhew turned the puck over, I think 3 different times on the same shift. And it was just like after that first power play ended and then Mayhew had the turnovers, it got really, really sketchy where it just like Toronto suddenly built on that momentum. And then you have one dumb penalty by Ryan Hartman, and it turns the entire game around. And, there's no doubt Jake Muzzin dove there. I mean, it was amazing that it wasn't called, but still, regardless, that would have nullified the power play. There was the breakaway by Donato. There was no reason for Ryan Hartman to touch him, but as Bruce Boudreau said after the game, he was upset that he just got hit hard. He was upset that he got up stunned and hurt, and then at a reaction. And we've seen it from Ryan Hartman a couple times. He lost his temper, took a dumb penalty, and it changed the game. And it's unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good day to do a lot of Twitter questions. I think because we don't always get to the Twitter questions when we do live shows. So I want to hit on a few of those. Do want to thank Fixology Repair, fixologyrepair.com, now in downtown St. Paul, along with Mall of America, downtown Minneapolis, and even in Toledo.
Hi, this is John with Fixology Repair. For the better part of a decade, we've been privileged to serve you for all of your jewelry, watch, and smartphone repair needs at the Mall of America. Since Minnesotans largely hate going to the mall, we expanded 2 years ago to reach you in the Minneapolis Skyway. And now this year, we're pleased to announce we have a new location at